There's no black and white.
And I totally agree with that assessment. My assessment is spot on. I think, hey, there's this idea of NATO just being, the CIA, the FBI, getting involved, all these intelligence, trying to like do all this little stuff in all these countries where we're not really supposed to be. Like, why are we doing all this shit?
I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Someone who didn't
it's ridiculous.
win 2% of a primary become the presidential candidate.
Yeah, it's absurd.
Not through a vote.
It's absurd. It's
like,
absolutely
what's worse, a CIA coup or this?
Yeah, I mean, it's equivalent, but whatever they did do and didn't do in Ukraine 10 years ago for the Maidan Revolution and all these different things. I mean, the fingerprints were there, stuff was going on. I mean, a lot of events happened. There's a lot of factors, but, we really shouldn't be involved in that right on Russia's border. Like, imagine if they were trying to put bases in Mexico. Hey, we're going to do China and Russia. We're going to do our new,
the militias in Texas would take them out in like 2 days.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's like, again, there's that element of that, right? Which is, kind of pushing.
Well, and then the 38 bioweapons labs that they also put in 2014.
Yeah. Well, we're doing all these I mean, that makes sense. Why would we do this in the U.S.? We're going to, in case it hits the fan, we want it everywhere else.
It's tangentially made illegal for domestic gain of function processes.
Yeah, so they want to. So Fauci and all these guys, they want to like do these experiments elsewhere, right?
I thought there was this convention after World War One, right, where they banned gas bombs and all kinds of stuff, and then there was one after World War II, and there was a code that was developed, right? What was that called?
The Nuremberg? Was it Nuremberg?
Aren't all these in violation of that?
Yeah, I mean, they just, it's all fucking ridiculousness. But, I think there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of factors there with Russia. Of course, where NATO is right on their doorstep, which, like you said, Minsk agreement is a violation. I mean, it's not like they're following their agreements, but we're not following ours either, right? So, there's that. Then there's this idea of all that fertile land right there connecting to the sea, and connecting them to Crimea. So there's that, which is exactly the land. It's where all the Nazis are. They're all along that coast there. That's where they're pushing.
Who just got the contracts for the rebuilding?
That's a good question. I don't know. Tell me.
Look it up. Search it real quick. I mean, what
do you want me to? What am I searching?
It's the usual suspects. It's BlackRock and JP Morgan
for rebuilding and for rebuilding Ukraine. Wow.
Now, who are the communists again?
Yeah,
they're listed right there.
Wow. So the EU is considered something very.
I mean,
but they're not rebuilding where Russia took over. They're rebuilding or are they like what?
Who knows?
I'm curious. Yeah, I'd like to.
Right, because we're only fed information. Like that's pulling data out of a cloud that's already corrupt.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So that's not a fact check.
So he's using Grok. I mean, he's using Grok too many here. He's not using. Hey, do me a favor. Use OpenAI and use GPT-4 Turbo or whatever.
Or just to go side by side.
Yeah, let's just see. But I don't know EHO.
Well, you might have to change the pronouns of ChatGPT.
Yeah, 4.0. That might be offensive.
Yeah. I like reading books.
Let's see. You got the there's. Let's see what we got here. Let's see if they give you. Several international companies and organizations have secured contracts and partnerships to aid in their, notably AECOM, a major.
Speaking of communists, look at that. Good on you, Brock. Good on you.
It just gives you so many different answers. Like
that was just a malaise of bullshit.
Yeah. Just crazy.
We're going to be unburdened by what
has been.
Yeah. Can I elect my dog around the country?
The dog would do a better job. Just wouldn't do anything, which would be perfect. It would just be perfect. Oh man,
this is far away from Bitcoin.
Yeah, we got far away, but it's
but not really.
A lot of
Bitcoin's a force for good. We're talking about forces for bad.
Yeah. Well, Bitcoin just takes, it just takes so much power away from, the people that can print money, like you said, right, to do all this stuff, right? Because if you don't have to come to the population you want to do something, you want to go to war, historically you'd have to actually raise taxes or get the money to do it. But the ability to print all this money out of thin air by pressing a button or whatever, just steal purchasing power from population. You can fund unpopular things like World War I, for example.
When was the last time that Congress declared war?
Yeah. Never. It's been a long time, right?
It's been a very long time, yeah.
It's been a very long time.
And then
President, was it Bush did the last one?
I think it was Persian Gulf was the last official one. But I'm not certain on that, so I don't want to misspeak because there's a little bit of, I'm assuming that happened in 1991, but perhaps that's also a full proxy. Nonetheless, all wars are bankers' wars. And no one in Iran, no one in China, and no one in Russia is my enemy. My enemy is the central banks.
Yeah.
And the globalist bureaucrats that play God under them.
It's crazy. It's like, everybody thinks they're a god. They can meddle and like, that's just.
You have
like
no
our
free
government.
will, Matt.
Yeah.
Humans are hackable animals.
Yeah.
Like, do you hear yourself?
These Sam Bankman-Frieds, these effective altruists, that's another one that was like, he was spewing all this bullshit.
Yuval Harari.
Oh, Yuval Harari. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the guy sounds like, he makes like Ted Bundy sound like a kindergarten teacher.
You're going to be ashamed of me, but I read his, was it Homo? Can't remember what it was, the even name of the book, but I thought it was a good book. There were some things I disagreed with in the book, but I thought he was like a very good storyteller. Like, and he described, my favorite part was just learning about the different types of humans that existed. It was almost like
Australopithecus.
Yeah, it was almost like reading like Lord of the Rings. It was like, hey, 200,000 years ago, it was like not just Homo sapiens, there were Homo neanderthals and Homo australopithecus and Homo floresiensis. That was my favorite one. There's like these little dwarves that lived on an island.
And there were also giants.
Yes. So it's like, it kind of like where you hear all these myths and stories that get passed down for generations.
1800s in America, there were 200-foot giants found.
200 foot. That's
all over the place.
That's pretty large. Yeah. I don't know if I believe that one, but I'd have to see it.
I mean, again,
200 foot is like,
try
that's
to
like
fact check a dig from 1807.
Oh no, man, that's
there were bones that were found.
That's like the size of
where the so-called scientists extrapolate. Oh, well, this one's 12 feet 9 inches, and then this one could have been 200. It's like a fragment of a pinky bone or something like that. But there were definitely 9 to 12 foot skeletons found all over the planet.
And then those dwarfs, the ones on the island, I guess. What you
mean hobbits?
Yeah, hobbits. Well, what Harari talked about in this book was like this island had separated from the mainland, and like with
Atlantis.
I don't know which one it was, but it was. What are you finding over here? The remains of giants were discovered in the small Ecuadorian village of Changyamimi, said to connect to an ancient human race.
And everybody's okay with this?
I don't know.
Wait, there were humanoid giants, and no one's talking about this.
And such as the local, I'd have to. I'm very skeptical. Skepticism is my first.
That's the scientific process. Is all hypothesis.
Yeah,
so
I'm all about skeptic. I'm very skeptic here.
Think about the incentive to fake that. Like, why would anybody even waste their time taking a picture of that?
Well, it's a news story and it goes out. And you can talk about it. Whoever found it can go on YouTube and make a video. So there is incentive for conspiracy theories. I mean, they can.
That's not a conspiracy theory. Conspiracy implies what, Matt?
It wasn't Hawaii.
Implies conspiracy. What is it that whether or not bones existed or not, it's not a conspiracy theory.
Well, whether
you have to have these explicit
bones are actually really belong to a human. You and me could have a conspiracy where we want to sell some fucking books and we want to sell a podcast and we want to make a magazine from like a marketing. We want to go on YouTube and pump up our channel with viewers, right? So there's an incentive there to say, hey, look, I found a dog that's 50 feet tall. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not saying. Like you said, my first hypothesis is a null hypothesis. I'm skeptical until proven.
That's my.
Whereas from my research
is contrarian bear.
Like looking at
despise everything, take a negative nihilistic position out the gate, and prove to me you're worthy of any iota of my time.
Exactly.
And analysis. Like that is the best setup.
Yeah.